Let me introduce you to the vintage Coach carrier bag from the late 80s. I think it's safe to assume this is an update to the earlier and smaller Musette style. Now let me show you how I took this bag from in need of a rehab to almost as good as brand new in this first part 1 rehab video. Let's get to work by first removing all of the hardware that we can remove from the bag and setting it aside, and then we're going to open up the bag and give it a nice vacuum. Usually there's some kind of debris inside the bags. In this particular bag, we are dealing with some pet hair situations and some weird sticky residue on the inner hanging pocket here, which you can see also has pet hair stuck to it. It's not coming off. So I have decided after that I'm going to give this a bath and see if that will soften up whatever is stuck to that pocket, and hopefully we can get it off. Now, whenever people see me bathe vintage Coach bags, there's inevitably a lot of discussion about it. I will tell you that not every bag needs to go through this process. I like to reserve it for the bags that are the dirtiest and that have evidence of pet hair inside of them, because bathing really helps bring out the hairs that get stuck in the interior seams and crevices of the bag. And in this case, we also had this weird green gunk on this pocket that I had no idea what it is, but the water did help soften it up quite a bit. Then I was able to pull it off with these pliers the rest of the way. So again, I reserve this process for bags that really need it and can take it. If it's an early Bonnie Cashin piece, or it's a bag that shows signs of dry rot, or the stitching is coming apart, I would not advise bathing those bags and maybe doing more of a minimal spa day process to rehab them. And also any bags that have mixed materials, but typically these vintage Coach bags are all made of one material, which is glove tan leather. So here it is out of the bath. I don't leave it in very long, just enough to saturate the bag, because one of the other advantages of bathing a vintage Coach bag is that it really affords you the opportunity to reshape the bag and get its silhouette back, especially if it came to you very deflated or crushed. So I'm stuffing it with towels, and you can see me here kind of massaging it and working it into the place that I want. The way that you stuff it and leave it to dry is the way it's going to dry. At this time is also a good opportunity to kind of massage and reshape the strap if it has kinks in it, which most likely it will if it is a buckle strap like this one. That's just the way that, it wears as people use it with the buckles. So I wouldn't get too perfectionist about this, but it is an opportunity to kind of work some of the deep kinks out of it while the leather is wet. And you can kind of get it more or less back to how it was originally, but it will probably kink again with use. So once you get the bag and the pieces the way you like them, you want to set them to dry, preferably outside, but if not, somewhere with really good airflow to help the bags dry out thoroughly and prevent any kind of molding. And at that time, I like to work on the hardware pieces. I use Brasso, but you're welcome to use any polishing product for brass that you like. And you can see I got quite a bit of patina off. Now, I did want to show you guys just some of the process of that. I didn't want to take up too much of the video showing you me buffing every single piece here, but I do like to use a nail buffer, probably on the second and first settings only, to just kind of rub off any tarnish that or patina that the Brasso did not get off. If the patina looks blotchy and uneven like you see on this piece, I do like to work it off with a nail file. If it doesn't, I will leave it on there and try to keep the hardware as original as possible, but this really had some weird brown spots on it, and they buffed right out with the nail block, as you can see. The process doesn't take very long. You don't need to press too hard with the nail block, and you really get lovely results and even out any kind of weird tarnish or patina on the hardware pieces for an overall almost new look once you apply it back onto the bag. Speaking of the bag, don't forget to flip it at least once at some point during the drying process before it completely dries, just so that all areas of the bag can get full air exposure. Once the bag is about 80% dry, I like to start to go in with my first application of leather CPR. And if you're new to this or if you're old to this, I would encourage you to think about this process like a skincare routine that you would do for your face. So this first product is a cleaner and a conditioner, and we just apply it everywhere to every finished surface of the leather bag. So that includes inside pockets, the bindings on both sides, around the bottom and top, the inside back pocket, all the tabs, under the tabs, like everywhere. And this product is great because it starts to put the moisture back into the leather that any prior cleaning processes might have taken out of it. Just like when you clean your face, you first need to take off all the dirt and oils from your skin, and then you start to use products to put the moisture back into your skin. So again, I like to start this process when the bag is still a bit damp, but mostly dry. It just helps the product really start to sink in to the leather. And then I proceed to buff it with a horsehair brush. This does take a few minutes to do depending on the size of your bag, but really important to help get the scratches out and help the product get into the pores of the leather. It's especially important to pay attention to straps and handles on bags, depending on what style you're working on. Make sure you get the binding on both sides. Yes, this is binding, not piping. The correct term is binding. When you have this style of binding around the edges of the bag, you want to make sure to apply the leather CPR, particularly to any area that is load bearing, like this tab here. You want to make sure that it stays moisturized and hydrated to prevent any kind of dry rot or cracking, which would definitely completely damage the leather's ability to be load bearing and to actually function as it's supposed to. So again, make sure you get all the binding, both the interior and exterior, the handles, the straps. They are getting the most exposure to air over other areas of the bag because they are literally stretched around an edge, opening it up to more air exposure. So they're just a little bit more in need of moisturization, and they're the areas where you typically see the most wear and color loss over time. And that's quite natural, especially if you're using the bag regularly. If your bag is particularly dry, feel free to go in for a third or fourth application of leather CPR conditioner or whatever product you're using to condition the bag at this time. Just make sure that you're allowing the leather to rest between applications, and that can be I think for a minimum of 24 hours to a couple of days, depending on your schedule, and just make sure it's in a well-ventilated area indoors or outdoors, but particularly outdoors if that's available to you. Once the bag is dry enough to hold its shape, I will take out all the towels inside to allow more airflow inside the bag and make sure that everything inside the bag is getting maximum airflow so that it dries out just as much as the exterior of the bag. I also want to note that it's totally normal for dye to come off during the bathing process or even during the moisturization process. It's totally natural. You didn't do anything wrong. Here is the bag the next day, completely dried out. It's holding its shape quite nicely, which is what we want to see. Also, a lot of the scratches and dryness have disappeared, which is also another thing we're looking to see as we're about 50% through this rehab. Follow along for part 2 where we complete the process. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please subscribe, like, and follow this post. And check out my playlist for other great Vintage Coach rehab content. I'll see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy thrifting.